Hey, what's going on, guys? In today's video I wanted to do a relatively quick review of the Neural DSP Quad Cortex. This is a video I've been meaning to get to for a while now. I just haven't had as much time, and to be honest, I'm not the best at these YouTube videos and reviews. There's so many other YouTubers who are amazing at it, but I wanted to share some of my experiences with you today with the unit, and that's more so what I want you to get out of this if you're thinking about buying it, or maybe you have it and you just are kind of watching some stuff and wanting to maybe get another perspective on it. I hope I can offer that for you today. I'm not going to do a deep dive of like the tones and with all the features of the unit, because again, there's so many YouTube videos out there of people discussing that, and they do a better job at that than I ever could anyway. So I will play a little bit for you. I'll go through some of my patches that I've created, some tips and tricks if I can that'll help you out. And at the end of the video, I'm going to put a bunch of clips up of me playing more extensively, like some live footage so you can hear it maybe in that context. I'll put some recorded stuff that I've been doing, some stuff maybe from my Instagram. I'll pull one of those videos just so you can hear, the vast capabilities, I suppose. Anyway, so I have the unit on my board. My board is kind of just all intact right now. I didn't want to take the quad off and put it close to the camera, so forgive me. I travel and play quite a bit, so it's nice to just take this board out of the Pelican case, and then put it back, so on and so forth. I won't get into detail of what's on my board. That's not what this video is about. But the gist of it is I do have two power supplies underneath for various reasons. And I'm not using the original power supply for the quad. I do think it's a fantastic power supply, but the way this was built for me, it just didn't make sense to have the original. So with that being said, some immediate things that I love about this unit are the fact that I can go DI, or I can go into the return on the back of any amp head and use that just as a power amp section. I love that I could also run 4-cable method if so, which is being able to get the best of all worlds, really, when you're using a live amp and something like this as well. And I have my board routed that way as well, to where I can walk into any situation and I can make do with what is being required or asked of. A few of the gigs I do, it's all in-ears and DI. So I walk in with the same board and they just plug 2 XLRs in, to run stereo right here. It's a done deal. And then I have all my patches saved. It sounds amazing, and I love that. And then there's gigs where they require amps, and there's another guitar player on the other side of the stage who's also running an amp, so it's like, okay, but I want to use my tones in here, so I go into the return on the back of the head of whatever is backlined, and it bypasses the sound, and I can still use the heads that I have captured in here and my tones entirely, and everything's coming out of the cabinet. So lots of different great options. And again, there's so many videos that I have on my YouTube, my Facebook, and my Instagram. You can check all that out at Brandon Paul Official. If you kind of just want to binge some of those things and see the different context of how I use it live, you're more than welcome to. So that's one of the things that I really like about this, the diversification of it. Now, getting into the actual robustness, if you will, of the unit, it holds up really well. And just in the last few months, I've traveled to Alaska and played Bahamas, the East Coast, the West Coast, and in the Midwest as well. I mean, I've pretty much been like a lot of different places that have totally different climate, so it's held up really, really well. And I haven't had any issues with that, which is good. There is one small concern that I have, maybe it's more than a small concern, but there is a concern that I have, and it's when I'm playing festivals or something and it's really, really hot out and the sun is beaming right on the unit. I've tried looking up on forums whether it would affect the unit or not, and I couldn't find a clear answer, but by, I don't know, my guesstimation, I'm going to assume that if you had that in direct sunlight for too long, it's possible to fry. I mean, anything is if it's a computer-based thing, right? I don't know. But that's kind of like one of my only main concerns about this unit. So other than that, the actual construct of it is fairly robust and it's fine. A lot of people have trouble with the actual foot switches. They are kind of close and compact together. I do find myself almost hitting the wrong button at times, and I know some people have those God, what are they called? The things that you just pop on each of them, and they're like the mushroom tip style things. I'm forgetting what they're called. Forgive me. And I heard those don't really help a whole lot either to really make it easier to step on the right knob when you need to. So, I mean, I haven't, really stepped on the wrong knobs often, but I'm just saying that's something to think about with this unit. So, a big thing that I like too about this is how I can just switch between my presets right here and so on and so forth, but I still have all my scenes, the 8 different scenes on there. So that's something that's really nice. Like I had the Helix Stomp before this. That was like my first introduction to amp modeling was the Helix Stomp. I'm sorry, owning my first amp modeler was the Helix Stomp 2 years ago. And I made the best of it. I really dialed in tones. I put IRs in there. I, went even on the back end of the global settings and I swept out frequencies. So I really tightened the hell out of that unit and got the best of it, I think. And this just kind of blows all that away. It really does. And I have played the Helix, the full, version. I've played the Axe Effects. I've done some recordings with it. I've played Kemper. And all of these are great. They're all great units. I haven't played the Axe Effects 3. I think that's the latest one. I'm not sure. I'm really bad about that. But I have played pretty much the majority of the modelers out there, and they're all fantastic overall. But this to me just kind of destroys everything. I think this is like the cream of the crop right here. So for me, I have my favorite amps captured in there. Some of them that I've downloaded from the Neural DSP app or whatever. I've just imported ones that people have already kind of captured. I have a Friedman BE100 as one of my main rhythm sounds that someone got, and it sounds fantastic. I captured my Eddie Van Halen 5153 amp. That's in there as well. And I'm using some of the factory captures too, the Fender Princeton. It's my clean channel that I'm using. And I'll go through some of these here in a minute. Yeah, so all in all, even if you're just recording at home, this is perfect for that. If you're a traveling musician, I think this is a must at some point because there's so many different gigs that come up, and it just kind of carries that diversification everywhere you go, and it's very, very consistent. In fact, if it were up to me, every single gig that I do, or did rather, I would actually just go DI and use that and use my in-ears. That's a personal thing. I mean, I do love tube amps, of course, but like for the sake of like the hassle of lugging gear, having an unpredictable backline when you fly into certain places, etc., like I just think it's so much easier to just plug right in. That's how good this unit sounds to me. I can just plug right in and it sounds so fucking strong to me, excuse my language. So that's a personal thing. Again, that's kind of what this video is about, is just giving you my personal experience with it so far. So I hope I haven't bored you yet. I know I haven't gotten into like much playing or anything, but I just kind of wanted to run through my experience with it. And in conclusion to that, before I do some playing, I wouldn't change this for anything. I mean, this is going to be my main piece of gear that I'm gigging with for a very long time. Honestly, I don't see it changing for a while. And I use this in all my Instagram videos, my YouTube stuff, live, like I mentioned. So I'll go through some of my patches that I have in here, and I'll tell you what they are, each of them. The clean channel that you heard in the beginning and that I'll switch to now is actually the Fender Princeton that they captured. I have my IRs in there. I'm running 2 cabinets at once. That's another trick that you can do. Always run 2 cabinets in there and split them on the signal, and it just makes everything so much bigger and better sounding. So this is the Fender Princeton, and yeah, it sounds fantastic. Really like the sound of that one. It's super clean, and I guess I should mention the guitar I'm playing. I'm playing a Charvel. I love Charvel. I endorse Charvel, and I've been playing Charvels for years now, and I will continue to. So I got some Duncans in here. They sound amazing. Yeah, they sound amazing, and you know, good stuff going on. I don't want to get too far into this. That's why I kind of hesitated to talk about it, because this is more about the quad and not about my guitar. But that is what I'm playing with this today. The main rhythm that I like to use is my 5153 capture, and here's my recording rhythm that I play with. So here's my lead channel that I usually play with, which is also 5150. Same exact thing set up, except that I have a little bit more delay and reverb on there. Some other cool things too, on this same preset that I have, I can switch to either my 5150 as my distorted rhythm, or my Friedman BE100. Like I said, that's been captured in as well. And I really like being able to shift between those. They sound quite different, but it's nice on any given night to just kind of change that up. So here's the Friedman rhythm. Really, really nice. Same thing with the lead, all of that. And one cool tip that I wanted to share with you when actually building a preset, something on the back end, the final steps that I like to do is add some graphic EQ and really tighten some things up. There's a guy, I forget his name, I wish I could give him a shout out right now, because I learned this from him. But if you type in like graphic EQ quad Cortex, his video should show up. And he basically puts two graphic EQs in here, one of which is essentially cutting the low end so it tightens some things up, and then the other one is bringing back the low end after a certain amount of blocks. So you're doing it after the cab, so on and so forth. And it's really enhanced the sound. It's made my playing a lot tighter. It's made things just sound really crisp and clear. Things got a bit more snappier, which I really like. Everything's nice and tight. Which is pretty cool. So that's like an extra little tip that I think I've come across with this unit. So to wrap this up, I don't want to push this past 20 minutes. I hope some of this was helpful, and again, I'm not the best at these types of videos and doing reviews and all that. I'm more of a player and a performer than anything, so bear with me. I would definitely recommend getting one. It's amazing. It's been a game changer for me. Anyone that I've talked to that has this unit, it's been a game changer for them as well. So if you've been considering making the change from an amp to a modular, or you want to integrate both, this is the way to go. And hopefully you don't have to wait too long on the back order. I know that's been like the biggest problem. So anyhow, okay guys, thanks for hanging in there with me, and please follow me on social media at Brandon Paul Official on everything, and I hope to see you around. Okay, thank you. Yeah.